Hello, and welcome to Running Behind. I'm Joey Metzger, your host and guide, and yeah, welcome back, because it's been a minute, right? I apologize to the listeners. I did not mean to go Boulder Boys on my show schedule, but I just recently got back from some extended time in Africa, and then I got really sick, and I'm just now coming back into myself and just now recovering some semblance of a voice, so I figured it's time to get back to kicking out some pod episodes. Today's episode is with my boys, Erik and Mario, for another edition of Crew Access. We actually recorded this one earlier this summer after I'd been at Western States. We talk about that along with our experiences at the Fans Ultra Race and our plans and training for the rest of the year, and some discussion on a certain 2027 race in California that we've all signed up for. Hopefully the conversation isn't too dated, but I can pretty much guarantee it's fun and lively, as it always is when the three of us get together. And I have a couple more pods I've already recorded that I'll hopefully release pretty soon. So, I hope you remember how this goes, but head out for your run, grab your Mount to Coast H1s and an ice bandana in case it gets hot. But once again, it's time to hit the trail. I should start a Patreon account to help pay for the pod.
There you
My
go.
God. We are up to, guys, 88 subscribers on Spotify alone.
Very cool.
Really?
We have 88 followers. I think a lot of them came from Lindsay Teague, because I was at like 70 something. I did the pod with her, and I immediately, I told you guys that episode just blew up. She's so popular. She's got, what did I say? She's got 40,000 some followers on Run Talk, as she calls it, and then another 20 some on Instagram. And that episode, guys, oh man, just blew up. It's at 300 listens right now, which for me is a lot, is way more than our next popular episode. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I was looking up everybody's training. Mario, did you get your run in today?
I did. I actually did 2 runs. I did a run last night. I finished about 10 p.m. and I started my run this morning at 6:30.
Okay.
So about 8.5 hours apart. But they're on 2 different days, so 2 different 5Ks.
And now you can wait until tomorrow before you do your next run.
Yep.
Erik, did you do your run today? How's the Wild Duluth, the WD training?
I only have to run 4 days a week. I do Tuesdays,
Oh, nice.
Thursdays, Saturday, Sunday. And then
well,
if my weekends are busy, I'll rearrange a little bit. But
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to that. We're going to talk. So I didn't send you guys notes. We chatted a little bit. I think let's chat about fans. It's been a minute. I was playing back, I interviewed Chris Swanky, and that podcast will, I don't know. I've got a bunch of them in the can right now. That might air before this one does. But we talked a little bit of fans. So let's talk fans, because the three of us haven't talked about it. We were all three there. We all three had different experiences. And then Mario, we have to talk your amazing birthday run, shattering the sound barrier, setting records. We got to talk Erik's training. He's training consistently like a madman for Wild Duluth. And then I got to tell you, I was at this, I went to this little race my buddy was at called Western States Endurance Run out in California, and ran into a few people. My God, it's just crazy. I can't wait to tell you about it. So let's start. Let's start with fans. First off, how are you guys doing? Everybody doing good? How's work going?
good. Busy, but good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario, you took a couple weeks off. You were down in Colorado visiting Luke.
Yeah, I took, what was it? I think with the 4th of July holiday, I think I took like 6 days of PTO and then a holiday and a couple weekends in between there. So I was off work for like 12 days at the end of June through the 4th of July. Started off with my birthday, my 35th birthday. I actually did my birthday run on June 19th, a week before, almost a full week before my actual birthday. But I took my birthday off and spent the day with the family. And the next day I flew out to Colorado, and my brother Luke and I climbed a couple mountains and Yeah, we can get into that in a little bit, but that was a lot of fun. I got everything I could have imagined in Colorado out there. I got everything I went out there for. Got my butt kicked on a mountain. I fell. It was good.
Great. Let's go back in time to fans. It's been a minute now, but so last time the three of us were together, we talked about fans and it was a great time, and we had our tent set up. I had my tent. I ended up on a slope of a hill. And so I had a cot and chairs and a cooler, and it was all at about 36.5 degrees slant. But you get what you get. I mean, we got there earlier, but man, it was full up. I didn't pull up the temperature. Did it get up to 90? I feel like it got close to 90, if not over 90 that day.
It's pretty close.
It got to like high 80s and then pretty high
80s.
percentage humidity. I want to say 87, 88.
87, yeah. I think that's what I saw predicted. But guys, Minnesota, the beginning of June, 87, that's not normal. And the humidity was insane. It was just sticky from the time we set up till the time we left. And it never cooled off. And there was not a breeze.
No.
There was not, I don't think, maybe 2 clouds in the sky in 24 hours. So as soon as we set up, we're like, all right, we got to go slow. We got to drink our liquids. We got to do this and that. We had more than enough supplies. If I learned anything, I don't need to bring all that shit ever again. I was talking to Chris Wanke, and he's like, do not bring a cot. Don't bring a sleeping bag. Don't bring a cot. Just, maybe a chair. That was maybe my mistake.
Hey guys, can I pause for a second?
Yeah,
my air conditioning just turned on. I tried to change the temp to keep it off. So is there a lot of background noise?
It's fine. No, it's okay. No, it's fine.
Okay. Very good.
Stay comfortable.
Very good. I am comfy. I just wanted to make sure the background noise wasn't too distracting. So.
No, I hit the echo cancellation and I'm not really hearing anything at all.
All right. So. Very good. Very good.
Well, Chris Wanke, when I interviewed him, he had this really loud hum, and when I listen back to the recording, it's like there's nothing there. So you never know.
All good.
Did you ask Chris why the Kinney doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, I did.
Good. Okay. Can't wait now.
And I'm not going to tell you on this pod. You're going to have to listen to the other one. He did. He went. It was very interesting, Eric. And I'm not going to say any more. He may have broke some news, but I'm not going to say any more. You'll have to listen to it. If by the time this comes out, you probably will have heard it because I'll release it beforehand. But I'm not going to talk about it in this pod because I want the two of you to hear it first on the pod. But yeah, so Chris Wanke was there. The three of us were there. We were setting up, and who did you guys go? Joey, look who's here. Who was that, guys? Who saw him first?
Me. So you and Mario, kind of your tents were kitty corner and across the path from each other. So I just bombed into your tent. So I'd come and dropped my bag off, and then I was like, "Oh, where's Mario?" And you're like, "Oh, he's over in his tent getting ready." So I went over to just say, good morning, make sure he didn't need any help or anything. And I turn around, and there's this guy head to toe Hoka gear, and I'm like, oh man, that's Sage Canada. So I asked him if he needed anything, and then once he was just like, oh, I'm just trying to find my tent, and I was like, oh, well, if you have time, can I snag a picture? And then I was like, oh, can I introduce you to my friends? And then, we got to hang out with Sage for probably 5 minutes there and get some pictures. Super nice guy.
I mean, of all places, Normandale Lake in Bloomington, Minnesota, Sage Canada. And this was like, I don't know if it was the height, but it was still swirling the Sage versus Cam, infamous controversy. It was so funny. And I was like, you're like, this is Sage is here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, the other funny thing is, Neeraj, who I've been working with on our campaign, Grace to the Finish. Well, Neeraj knows Sage, and Sage has been a supporter of the campaign. So, of course, I've got the mug with, and I'm like, we got to get a photo. He posted it on the website, and then, he followed it and all of that stuff. But a really nice guy. He was a great guy.
He reposted.
And he was there to support his buddy. Who's his buddy again?
The Serious Runner, for those of you who have YouTube and Instagram.
Right. Right.
Which I didn't know. I never saw Sage running again, and so I didn't ever see who he was there to like support. I wish I would have seen that guy because he's super funny. I don't know his real name, but he's super funny.
Yeah. Mario, do you know his name? I don't know the dude's name.
I can't remember his name offhand.
I'd have to look it up. Maybe I'll throw a link in the show notes. So
But
yeah, he was there to support his buddy. He did.
The Serious Runner has a
What's
YouTube
that?
video about fans. If anyone wants to see what the day is like and hear what it's
Like
like.
8.5 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
It's not real long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice watch. Yeah.
And I'm assuming Sage shot some of that, right? Or
I think most of it.
Yeah.
most of it? Yeah.
Most of the stops between loops and a lot of the short loop
Yeah.
footage was in there.
Because at one point, I was running with Fast Eddie. Hey, Fast Eddie, I think I've talked about him. 86 years young. I think he got to 100K. I think he got to 60 miles. That dude just doesn't stop. He's insane. And at one lap, I was running with him, and Sage came, and his buddy came by, and then he turned the camera on us, and I waved, and I said something about Fast Eddie's kicking my ass or something. But I didn't make the final cut, but that's fine. Yeah, that was so funny to see Sage out there. What's that?
I said either did I. Because
Yeah.
on the short loops, we can get there, but I was feeling pretty good on the short loops, and I was passing quite a few people. The adrenaline was high. We can get there at the end.
Let's start with the guy who had the shortest day, Erik. Erik, tell us, you signed up for the 6 hour, right?
I sure did have the shortest day.
Yeah, what was your plan again?
I think I've made it pretty clear that while Duluth is like the one this year, and so I had a 7.5 mile kind of alternating progression rep run, and so I did exactly my workout, and then I think I walked a loop with you, Joey, or like jogged a loop with you, and then my brother-in-law was nice enough to come out with his dog, and it was hot, so we just walked it together. And actually the one thing that does get Fast Eddie to stop is a puppy. He'll stop and pet your dog.
Oh, that's it. That's his kryptonite.
Yeah.
A puppy.
But yeah, no, I had a fun day. Joey had a lot of family like rotating in and out, so I got to meet all the Metzger family and relatives of, and then Mario's wife and son and nephew stopped out. So got to spend some time. Oh, and mom and at least mom.
Yep.
No,
Your dad was there early and your dad was there late, right, Mario?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Dad was there to help me. He drove me down, helped me set up. And then they watched me start, and my dad came back at the end. So he was there exactly 24 hours apart.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just hung out with everyone's family for the rest of the day.
It was fun having you there, and thanks for entertaining my family. So I had three. I have a total of 5 sisters. I had 3 of the 5 actually there, and one of them, Madonna from Manhattan, you've heard her name 1,000 times on the podcast, showed up. She was there to support me, and she was working out, running. She wanted to try running again. She used to do that. She ended up she was like, I don't need you. I'm just going to keep going. Like, what are you doing? She ended up doing her own thing, and I want to say she got to 15 miles or something.
Yeah,
she did.
She ran more miles than me.
Yeah, she did like 8 laps. She ended up, at one point, I was like, okay, I want to do some running here, and my family it was great. I loved having them there, and I had friends show up, and it was awesome, especially because it was hot. And it was muggy, and you didn't really feel like running. But then at one point, it was like, probably should have done some running earlier, because you just get more and more tired, more and more beat down. But it all worked out. It was fine. But yeah, it was funny.
I did, to represent the Running Behind podcast, I did DFL the 6 hour run.
I was waiting for my opportunity to say that, because Claire pointed that out to me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, Erik got first on the DFL podium."
Yeah. Everyone else broke double digits. I did like 7.5 miles or something.
That takes commitment.
I have the results in front of me, and I did not. Nice job, Erik. 6 hour, 18 participants. with a total of 11 miles.
Oh, I didn't get double
11.7 miles.
All right.
DFL. There he is, Erik.
Well, you stopped
I
your
came
watch
in.
at,
I
like,
was
7
hoping I would
miles.
be on the podium. I'm a little bit mad. I only got to, what did I get? 39.1 miles. And I came in, oh, geez, 7th from last? That doesn't seem right.
Not even
But David
close.
Shannon came in last. And, of course, he's hosting the event, for Christ's sake. I mean, and he still got in 15 miles, Erik.
In your defense, you were kind of hosting an event too. So
Well, kind of. And then I have to scroll to the top. Let's see. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. That's definitely the top half. Is Mario 80.7. Nice job. So Erik did his laps. He was done. I did mine. I wanted to, and I told this, my goal was 100 kilometers, 60 miles, something like that. And I knew when we started, I'm like, okay, I'm doing a lot of walking. Family's here. It's hot. It's muggy. There's that one part, like half of the loop, guys, it's all sun. You just bake. There's no trees. There's a lake there, this magnifying the sun. And I'm like, this is not going well. And I thought, then what did I say, Mario? I'm like, okay. And as Erik's day was getting done, I'm like, when night comes, I'm going to be working on my night moves, all of Bob Seger, and I'm going to lay down sometimes. So as soon as I got to, maybe it was 30 miles, I've talked about this issue with my sciatica on my back and my tailbone. My feet started going numb.
Yep.
Can't feel my feet. So I stop and stretch. Well, then I thought, well, I've got this cot. When I go to bed at night and lay down, I'll just sleep for a little bit. I'll wake up and my back will be fine. And it never got fine. It never cooled off. I never could get my legs working. I managed to squeak out 40. And then I left. What did I leave? 2-3 hours early? I was like, I don't know.
It was like 5 a.m., right around 5:30.
Yeah, I left about 5. I was just defeated, humiliated. Humidity and humiliation. Yeah, so
I
that
too
was
felt
my
that
day.
humiliation, honestly. Because I had that same mentality. It was hot, and like you had mentioned earlier, there was no wind, there was no breeze, no like relief from that, just the oppressive heat and humidity. And so, I got to midnight, and I was a little bit behind my goal of 100 miles. I was a little bit behind that pace, but I felt like if I slept and then I woke up, I'd be feeling good. But it never really cooled off. It never got cool. You didn't have like that nice cool night chill. It was still humid and muggy and still warm.
But you added bugs in.
And then you added bugs. And so
It was still hot and humid, but then you had bugs.
And I actually have to give a lot of the credit to me getting to 80 miles to Jason. So Jason came out and paced me throughout the night.
Jason Reeves showed up. Yeah.
He ran with me. He was awesome through. He said at 11:30, I said, I'm going to lay down for a half hour, and then I'm going to wake up. I'm going to set a timer. My alarm went off at midnight, and I texted him immediately, I need 10 more minutes. And it was really for me to kind of wake up and then put on dry clothes, because I went to sleep in my wet all day long clothes. And so I changed clothes, and Jason said right off the bat, he goes, let's just walk. We don't have to run a step. Let's just walk until you feel like running.
Yep.
And we walked for like 3.5 hours. I mean, we walked like 20 miles. I mean, we were moving. Or maybe it was like 11 miles, 11 or 12 miles we had walked. And then he had told me, just keep moving. Try not to lay down. I know you're going to be tired, but just try to you'd rather walk 20-minute miles than lay down and miss out on that distance. And he said, I was at 65 miles when he left me at, I think, at about 4 a.m. So I had about 4 hours left. And he goes, if you walk 20-minute miles from here on out, you should easily get to 70 miles. And to me, that turned into 70 is the minimum. And then I got to, okay, now 75 is my minimum. And then I saw more light at the end of the tunnel. When the sun came up, he goes, you're going to feel so much energy from that sun coming up over the buildings, and you're going to be amazed at how awesome you feel. And I was running after being awake for, since 4 a.m. 4:30 a.m. the day before, sleeping for a half hour and keeping moving. So Jason was a big part of the reason why I got as far as I did, even though I didn't go as far as I had hoped.
Erik, you weren't there when he showed up, or were you there when he showed up, Erik?
I was there when he showed up. Your family had just kind of left, and you went to lay down, and Mario went to lay down for a little bit. Yep. So Jason and I actually sat and talked for 10 minutes, probably.
Okay, then that's right. That's right. Were you there when Erik Walker showed up?
Both times.
The other Erik,
because he came in in the morning, and then his daughter, I believe, had a hockey tournament. So then he came back.
So a couple things I feel really bad about. Erik Walker showed up, and he was basically my pacer. Mario had Jason. I had Erik Walker there at night, and I was like, I just felt so bad. I couldn't move because I let you down, Mario, in the middle of the night when Jason Reeve left. I couldn't help you. And then Erik Walker, he was great. I think he did four laps or so with me, and I was just kind of worthless there by the end. But, yeah, I don't have any really regrets. I did what I could. It's the most miles I've ever done in one attempt anyways, 40. So it's something. It's not nothing. But when you have your heart set on 100 kilometers and you get to 40 miles and you bail a couple hours early, it just feels like...
Well, and my pacing throughout the day, I felt was really solid. Even when we were walking at night, we were still walking at 15, 30, no really much more than 16-minute miles. And so we were moving really well. It was the downtime in between loops. So my plan from the very beginning was to stop every 2 loops, fill my water that I was carrying, drink something, have something to eat, and then I had planned these rest breaks that I tried to force because that's what I had planned on, but I wasn't really tired, so it was kind of just dead time, really, that I could have kept moving at 20 minutes per mile or what have you, and then just sitting down in between loops trying to stop sweating and to get your heart rate to come down while also doing all that stuff. That time accumulated, and so I didn't really account for that, and it's the lessons learned. I've never done a 24-hour race. I've never ran for that long, so now I know why people strive to do their 100-miler in 24 hours, not do their first 100-miler in 24 hours.
So I have a question for you guys. So obviously my opinion on looped races is pretty well known, especially very short loops like that. Yeah. Like if it's a 15-mile loop and you have to do it twice, it's a little different. But like I did when I was doing my workout, I think I don't remember if I did 3 loops or 4 because of the extended first loop. But by the 3rd loop, like I had it memorized. It was like, okay, here's a half mile. Because I was doing like half-mile intervals kind of thing, like a fartlek basically. And I could, like, that's why I don't like looped races, is because when you get in a low moment, you know where everything is. Like, did that ever psychologically mess with you guys or not really? Of like, oh, I feel like crap and I know this loop's still 0.8 miles till I can get water, or 0.8 miles till...
I found it really reassuring. Because I had it memorized, I knew where I was. So I knew how much I had left to go. And because I've been doing a 5K every day, in my head it was still less than my daily run, and I can walk that if I need to. So once I memorized it, I could recognize exactly where I was, how much effort I should be given. After doing it 40 times, you kind of figure out where you should ease back and where you can let it rip a little bit more. Let it rip, as if I'm really running.
And I find not knowing where I am to be more of like a carrot. Like, okay, like if I start walking now, how long is this actually going to take me to the next aid station? I might as well just run, like, or jog or do whatever. Remember, Mario? Mario's got a buddy named McCrae who's done like Hurt 100 and some other stuff. And we ran with him one time, and he was talking about he like doesn't run his races with a watch. He just knows. He's like, you'll get to the next aid station when you get to the next aid station, and that always kind of like has played in my mind. And so when you know how long the next aid station's going to take, sometimes it's just like, oh, I'll just walk there. And I don't know.
Yeah. For me, brutal. When the weather's nice out there, it doesn't bother me because it's like I know exactly when it's uphill, when it's downhill, and I set little things. Got to run from this signpost to that signpost down the hill, walk this little section. Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna run it this time. I like, and guys, this is a guy who works out 90% of my workouts on a treadmill. So I probably have a different mindset when it comes to these things. I don't mind it if the weather's nice. When the weather's crappy like that, boo. And it's asphalt. It's not like running on gravel or grass or trails. It's a lot harder on you. So there's that. Here's my thoughts on it. I love the event. I love David. I love the cause. The only reason I wouldn't go back to do 24 hours is because I'm terrified it's going to be 87 degrees and 95% humidity. Because it's like, then it's miserable. Then you've got 24 hours of misery ahead of me. I already know it. My sciatica is going to act up. But and I think I mentioned this to Chris, and maybe I mentioned to you guys, what I might do next year is I might do the midnight marathon. Annika did that, friend of mine. I don't know if you know Annika. She went out, and I'm surprised I didn't see her, but of course I was like rolling around in my cot on that 36.5-degree slope trying to get some sleep, loosen up my back. But she came out and did the midnight marathon. It starts at 10 p.m. and you can run till 6. You can go farther than a marathon if you want. But I might do that next year. Not 24 hours, but just come out, get a marathon in. It's at night. Hopefully it's cooler. I got to get used to running at night with the headlamps. So I think that's what I'm going to do next year's midnight marathon if he does that again.
The other thing I would suggest, not for you, Joey, if you want to like run it, but, well, I guess you could. But the 6 hour was really fun for me if you plan to hang out the whole day. Because like I did the 6 hour, and then you kind of had a rotating band of people in and out of your tent. Got to meet Jason, got to meet Eric, got to meet a lot of your family.
Yeah.
But then across the way from us was some German interns at the UM Morris. And so like I got to talk to them. And then there was, on our first loop, do you remember there was a lady who was doing like a walk jog?
Yes.
And she had toe shoes on?
Yes.
And half tights?
Oh, I don't remember.
What was her?
Oh,
no.
We would like leapfrog her because we were just kind of steady jogging, and she would like run and then fall back and then run and then fall back. Anyway, I ended up chatting with her later in the day. She was also, I believe, German. She broke her toe 3 weeks ago. And she was doing the 12 hour.
She was wearing toe shoes?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
She broke her big toe, and she's just like, oh, I had this going, so I've just been training through it, and I figured if I could train through it, I'll just come out and run today and see what happens. I was like, oh, man.
Unreal.
But yeah, the 6 hours fun, because even if I didn't run the whole thing, but it's like 8 by 2 o'clock, you're done. You just hang out. If you know someone, you can jump in and crew for someone or do something. So I'd really recommend experiencing it that way if you don't want to run at midnight.
I would do the 6 hour, but I'd probably try to get that little. You get a special medal if you get a marathon, Eric. I think I told you that.
I was a little far off from a marathon.
Yeah, I'm not very fast. I never run a 6 hour marathon. How sad is that? But it's what it is. Yeah. So it was fun. Mario, would you do it again?
I would do it again. After I do a 100-miler, after I get 100 miles, and Jason, we talked a lot when you're walking for 3.5 hours in the middle of the night, a lot of topics come up, and he said in his experience, he goes, I don't know if I could run a 100-miler in 24 hours. It just logistically you need to maintain such a pace, and then the downtime in between is really what quote unquote gets you, and he said, he reminded me at that point, most people aim to run a 100-miler in 24 hours after doing a few of them. That's like their goal after accomplishing them. And I kind of had that epiphany at about, it was probably about 3:30. He said, "I'll do one more lap with you," because he was planning to leave at 3:30 a.m. He said, "I'll walk one more loop with you." And in that last loop, I kind of came to the realization the 100 miler is probably not going to happen today unless something miraculous happens. But also now I know I can do it. I felt really, really good after running for that long, being up for that long. At the end, I'm pretty sure I was running at sub 9-minute pace on those short loops. And so I had mentioned earlier that, in the Serious Runners video and our text chain, I said he cut the parts of me passing him on the short loops because I passed him a number of times. I was feeling really, really good. And I had a number of people tell me that, you're running really strong. And I would respond with, I don't know how I'm doing this right now because I didn't really have an explanation for it. But now I built that confidence that I absolutely can do a 100 miler, but it's just finding the right one that's logistically makes sense.
That's as long as it goes around Lake Normandale for 50 times. And
so
and you have a good 30 hours. There we go.
From a redemption standpoint, yes, I'd like to go back and try to do 100 miles in 24 hours.
Yeah,
probably not. Well, next year it's on my wife's birthday, so that's a big no-fly zone there. Because I enjoy being married, but at the same time, maybe in a couple of years when I maybe have a little bit more longer experience under my belt, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think, Eric? I think Mario would have totally hit 100 miles if it would have been 70 degrees with a little bit of breeze, some clouds, and no humidity. He would have totally hit 100 miles. He would have busted that wide open, no problem.
For sure. I think there's a lot of talk of at nighttime we'll claw back mileage. The problem is the nighttime didn't cool down. It was I left at 9 o'clock. It was. The sun wasn't beating down on you, but it was still muggy. And it was still high 70s with 90% humidity. For people who don't have to experience humidity, just go do your run while breathing through a straw. And, dump water on yourself every 2 seconds.
No. All right. I want to get us off of fans. Before we go, though, what shoes did you wear, Mario? What did you have on your feet?
I wore the Mount Tecos C1s for every single step of that race. I didn't change shoes once. Wow. I did have one small blister on the tip of my toe. Okay. My knees and my feet felt awesome. I went to Eric's son's first birthday party the next day, and I was moving slow, a little rough getting up and down, but my feet and my knees, my hips, everything felt really, really well. So shout out to Mount Tecos.
Good.
C1s were
Mount Tecos, man.
Were awesome.
Yeah, I'll get to mine in a second. I had good luck with mine. Eric, what did you wear? Did you wear your H1s?
I wore my H1s, yep.
And they were great for your 11.7 miles. They worked great?
They were great. I'm starting to try, I'm struggling to figure out when you actually need to retire those shoes. Because, the first time I wore them was in September.
Yeah.
I wore them or maybe it was October. I don't know. Twin Cities 10 miler, obviously. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I took them out of the box and ran Twin Cities 10 miler.
Yeah.
Well, I've worn them
that was October last year.
October. I've worn them for 90% of my runs since then.
Wow.
And I'm a heavier runner. I just went to the doctor. I'm 250 pounds. So it's a lot more.
All muscle, guys. Yeah. All muscle.
No, but that's a lot more impact than when Mario's running in his shoes, to be honest. And so, but they just don't die. I know you said, Mario, when you got your new H1s, you're like, oh, you don't realize how dead they are till the other ones. But a dead H1's still livelier than a lot of other daily trainers.
Still better than my Ultra Taurins that I remember taking out of the box and putting them on and running in them.
The tread's starting to go on the heels, but I'm just I don't know, they're still good. I still enjoy running in them. I can still do speed work in them and feel good the next day. So it's they're a good shoe.
I brought with 34 pairs of shoes. I ended up using It was ridiculous. I did 40 miles. I went through, but for me, it was partially to have fun and to try different shoes and see what I liked, because I use them on the treadmill and I don't get as many street miles. So my main ones I started with, I got a lot of miles out of them, were the New Balance 1080s, the new version. So I don't know if that's the V15s or whatever. And they were great, and I still wear them on the treadmill. I love them. However, after it was about 7 or 8 laps, started to get a little blister in my left heel. So then I switched to the Craft, not the Explorers, the Pacers. Wow. They were so light. They were great. Had no problems with them. Just for fun, I switched to the H1s. Rock solid. No problems. Now, when my legs started to go numb, I was trying everything. I'm like, well, let me try. I tried the Topos, Atmos, and I was like, nope, that didn't work. I tried some other pair I brought. Nope, that didn't work. And then I was just like, well, I'll just go back to the H1s because I know they're good. But yeah, the H1s are great, and I've been using them a lot. All right, let's move off of fans. Let's move on to Mario's birthday run. Mario, how old did you turn this year?
I turned 35 years old this year. And so to celebrate, or the way it started was I had just finished reading David Goggins' book, and he talks about being recertified. So if you take a certain amount of time off of racing, I needed to recertify my ultra ticket as an ultra runner. So I started doing a birthday run after I turned 31 to make sure that I was recertifying every year. And the last few years I've been doing my birthday run around my hometown of Monticello. And so I also work for the city, so I know the city pretty well. And so I've kind of just been able to piece together a mile more every year for the last 4 years now. 4 years in a row I've done it in Monticello. And I wasn't sure how this year was going to go because I had just ran 80 miles just 2 weeks before that, and I've never run this many miles this early in the year before, and so I was a little bit apprehensive, but I was just going to go out and enjoy the day as best I could. I know it was going to be a sufferfest, but the last few years I have worn T-shirts and tried to deal with the sun exposure, and this year I finally wisened up and got a sun shirt, and I had my hood up on my sun shirt for 90% of the day. And if I would go back to fans, that's the one thing I would change, is I would have wore a long-sleeved hooded sun shirt from the first step at 8 a.m. through until it got dark. I think that would have made a big difference. And I think that's why on my birthday run on June 19th, I ran 35 miles. I should have pulled it up. I think it was 6 hours and... Was it 6 hours and like 32 minutes or something like that?
6.5 hours, roughly.
Yeah, roughly. And so
new PR for you.
New PR for 50K.
Right?
Not quite a PR for a marathon, but I did run a 450 marathon during this 35-mile run. I had stashed water the night before at Quick Trip in the shade. Stashed like 4 water bottles. So I stopped.
You do know they sell water. You could just walk in and buy some
I could
water.
have done that. I could have done that, yep. But I wanted
if you were doing the Vol State 500K like my buddy Joe is starting tomorrow, that's what you got to do.
Yep, stashed water.
By the way, at the end of this, I want to talk about the Quick Trip Marathon that we're all going to do with Chris Swanky.
Your moving time was 6 hours, 25 minutes, 44 seconds.
Sweet.
35 miles.
And so, I was at like mile 31. I had like 4 miles left. And I noticed that there was this really dark cloud kind of making its way through. And I got a phone call from my wife saying, hey, just so you know, that really dark cloud is actually a severe thunderstorm. And down in Maple Lake or Annandale, somewhere just outside of where I'm at, there was rotation spotted. So you should probably just maybe let me pick you up. And I was really adamant, and I said, nope, I'm going to run home. I'm going to make it. And so the picture that I have is of me with my arms up, in the air like this, and right as I'm doing that, there's a big crack of thunder that's going off in the background. And so I sprint home. I have like 2 miles left, and I hit pause on my watch because I didn't want to just sit and wait for this storm front to go through at 33 miles and stop at 33 miles. So I waited for the severe stuff to pass and then struck back out and finished my 35-mile run. That it was
because God forbid you run 33 miles. What would you do? You'd have to I don't even know. I think the universe would stop, right?
Well, and truth be told, I've probably ran about 2 miles this year with my watch off. I forget to start it, or Coros has that feature if you try to start your watch without letting your GPS and heart rate connect, it'll beep at you, and so I think it's good to go. So I'll take off running, and I'll look down at my watch, and it'll say start now. I've done that more times than I'd like to admit.
I think we should all get Casio watches or just ditch the watches and just run.
Just run.
Just run. Find a clock, run by a clock in town and go, I've been out here for 45 minutes. I'm going to head home. Eric, you
or just get a Garmin. But that wasn't even one of Mario's top. That wasn't even one of Mario's top 3 marathon times. I was just digging into his Strava.
No.
What?
He has a 4:06 at, I believe that was the Dallas.
4:06? Where's that?
Dallas Marathon, his first official marathon.
Oh, my God.
And then his second time's a 5:05 on his 2022 birthday run. And his third fastest is a 5:16 on his 2020 birthday run. So it doesn't even register on his best efforts on Strava.
Dude, it's not even in your top 3. Wow.
And Joey and I were going nuts. Doesn't even make the mark for Mario.
6:44, guys. That was that Fire Tower 50K. That's my fastest marathons. Almost 7 hours. Wow.
Mine's 8 hours and 18 minutes.
Marathon?
Your marathon time?
Mm-hmm. Really?
Oh, wow.
I ran it in the middle of Wild Duluth. I've never done a real marathon.
Well, that's going to change this year. We're going to get to that. So the other thing, last year you tried to do 100-mile week. You didn't have to because you got your 100-mile week this year.
Got my 100-mile week at Fans. So not all was lost in that I didn't do my 100 miles in one run because I still got a 100-mile week. And so that was kind of the cherry on top. And what else Fans and this birthday run kind of sparked in me is that I can go a lot further and a lot longer than I thought I could before. And so now I've been looking, and I said no fall races. I know I said that. But I still continue to look at fall 100-milers in the off chance that something clicks and I'm able to make it work time-wise. But there's a lot to factor into. And one other thing is that I texted you guys about, I don't want to just go from training block to training block to training block to training block for races. I'm motivated to continue, but I also want to live my life. And when I'm training for big efforts, 100-milers, 24-hour events, it takes up a lot of time that my house probably needs, my yard probably needs, my family, my wife and son need. And so I think...
You can hire all that out. Get a nanny, get a gardener. I'm just kidding.
It's just...
Just send the bill to Eric.
I have a little angel up here telling me, spend more time with your family, and Eric. And then there's a little Eric over here saying, hire it out, run more miles.
Sell your soul to corporate America and free up time for running.
I mean, we exchange all these memes and stuff from Instagram, but they're so true, right?
Oh, it's so good.
We're crazy. We're doing all this stuff, and we're like, gotta do it. I gotta do it. By the way, I'm an amateur who comes in last at every race I run. And it's just, it's fun. We enjoy it, but there's got to be a balance.
Well,
you guys have kids.
I've seen a lot of
I don't even have kids, and I've got to have a balance.
About the runflation that's been going on social media. Running a 10K is running 6 miles is a long distance. Running a half marathon is a long ways. And the fact that we just casually go out on a Saturday or a Sunday long run as part of our training and run a half marathon or run 10 miles, we've kind of been numbed to the fact that that's a really big accomplishment. There was at one point where I ran 11 miles and I was blown away. that I had just run that far. The first time I'd ever run 11 miles, and it happened by accident. And I think at Fans I kind of started to come around, and then this last month in June I ran 240 miles, which is just unreal. But I think I've been run-flating myself. I think I've been gaslighting myself to saying it was only 80 miles in 24 hours. There are people out there that run so much further. Well, I'm not them. So remember where you come from a little bit. And that 6 miles, even a 5K, was a long time to run at one point.
I don't know if you remember Eric Walker, when he did his 5K a day for a year, he maybe twice that year he ran 10K. Otherwise, that was it. He did no marathons. He did no half marathons. He did no ultra marathons. His total mileage, I think, for the year was 1,100 miles, something like that. Mario, you're on track for about 2,200 miles this year.
Yeah.
So you can,
I can
you're
be
doing
proud
great. Keep it up.
What I've done, even though I didn't meet my goals. It's still really impressive. I'm on track to have set a PR in miles and time spent running, and I've ran all different kinds of races, all different events. I just got back from Colorado and did a whole bunch of mountain running with my brother, which was so soul-filling, just to be out there and spending time with him and running on his home trails. That was so much fun.
I don't know if this stat still stands, but there used to be a stat that like 1% of the populations run a marathon. A percentage of that 1%'s done an ultra marathon, which includes 50Ks. So probably 0.001 has done 80 miles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. It doesn't have to overwhelm us and completely encompass all of our lives to be enjoyable. So we'll just we all gotta keep that in mind, remind each other, like, it's all right, it's good. We don't have to run every single day. Anyways. Should we talk about Erik's training, or you guys want to hear about this little race I was at out in Truckee, California? I think it started in Truckee.
What was that event again?
I think they call it Western States.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
I've never heard about it. Can you give me some background on that race?
I'll give you a little bit of background. So I was at Western States with Neeraj, his family. And it was everything I expected it was going to be, and then some. It was overwhelming. I flew out there. So I flew out, the race is on Saturday. I flew out Thursday afternoon to Sacramento. You drive about, I want to say 2.5 hours from Sacramento to Olympic Valley, where the race starts. And I had a little Airbnb. I had my own little place right next to the river, the Truckee River, which was about 2 miles from where it starts. And then Neeraj and his family had a place in Truckee, which was about 8 or 9 miles from there. So I would drive back and forth for team meetings, getting together with them. But the drive, Sacramento, it's just flat and it's a town. And then you start getting into the Sierras, and it's just incredible. It's those mountain drives. It's Lake Tahoe. Everyone says Lake Tahoe is beautiful. Well, it's that area. It's Lake Tahoe. It's right there. And the scenery is fantastic. I absolutely love California. I love the Sierras. I love the mountains. Had this little cabin. I think I sent you guys probably the video of it. It was so cool. Right next to the river, and a tiny little place. I get out there on Thursday. I missed the first meeting. They have a meeting with James Bonet, who, by the way, his podcast might be released before this one. I don't know when I'm going to release these things, but I interviewed him. I gotta redo the last 15 minutes because his connection messed up. But James Bonet is his coach. So here's, you guys, everybody knows the story on the podcast, but I'll recap it really quick. Neeraj Egbert last year was the first guy to finish after the cutoff at Western States. Man Against the Horse race, which is run by James Bonet and his dad, Paul Bonet, both longtime supporters, runners of Western State. James, his dad, his aunt have all run Western States. James, I think the first time he was going to run it was 14 years old. James Bonet used to kick David Goggins' ass when he was 12 years old in ultramarathons. We'll get to that, or you'll hear it on the podcast I do with him. But so last year, Man Against the Horse Race decides they're going to give their golden ticket, their sponsor Western States, to the first finisher after the cutoff. Brilliant. It's Neeraj. Gives it to him. It's a huge story. I Run Far does a story on him. He's an immigrant from India. I connect with him. He's on the podcast. We become friends. We start the whole immigration advocacy campaign, Grace to the Finish. And at some point, as you guys know, I was like, yeah, I'll come out and hand out water bottles to you if you need help at Western States. Sure. You want to pace me the last 6 miles? I'm like, oh my God, pinch me. This is great. So I'm in. I'm there with his family. I get there in the first night. Oh my God, guys, he's got 2 boys, Rehan and Sahil. And Sahil and his wife, Becca, are the team captains, the crew captains. They have this thing down. I'm like, oh, you guys don't need me. I'm here for hype. Literally, Sahil had his notes, and they were all like, he had a PowerPoint going, and he was going through one of the team meetings. He's going through all the notes at this aid station, this many milligrams, and we'll get to precision because they were a huge part of this. But he's like, has everybody's responsibility at every aid station, and mine, hype man. I'm like, okay, I'm here to hype him up. And so I took it upon myself to videotape. I did a ton of videotaping. I've got to put a film together. I've already been working on the graphics for that. I've created some really cool map animations and things like that. And part of the reason I interviewed James Bonet was to get some background on him as Neeraj's coach for this. So yeah, I get there, I go over to their house, meet everybody. It's crazy because Neeraj and I have talked like every other day for the last several months. I've never met him in person. So it's like I meet him and I'm like, dude, I feel like I know you already. You're like my brother that I've never met. And his family's great. And we go out to eat, we get tacos and we're talking. And then, so the next day, Friday morning, I'm in my little cabin. I get up, I run, I go for a run. There's a path into the mountains right next to my house along the stream. Got my camera, and I'm just like, this is insane. It's like 50 degrees out. It's perfect temperature. I'm in the most beautiful part of the world, filming. It's great. Then I meet up with the crew. We go and do, at the last second, I sign up for the race to the summit. I forget what Hoka calls it. It's free. You just sign up, you get a bib. I saved all my bibs. So we sign up, me and Jonathan, who's one of his pacers, and Jonathan's wife, Beth. The 3 of us do this hike, and we get it's cold. It starts blowing, and then it starts hailing. We got about 1.7 miles up the escarpment, and we're like, I think we're good. Let's go get some pancakes. Let's go get a burrito. I'm done now. But here's the thing, and I actually stopped at Palisades, which is the village, Olympic Village. Palisades is what they call it, the ski resort there. The night before, so Thursday night, I stopped over there. I may have told you guys this, just to grab some videos, some photos. I ran into Dr. Tanya Olson, who I know. She's the foot care person. Guys, it's overwhelming. Like, you walk around, I walk through the bar, and I'm just kind of seeing what's open, and there's one bar open, and I literally bump into Billy Yang and his wife, and it's like you want to stop every 5 seconds and go, can I get a photo? And I literally was like, yeah, I'll see them again. And the next morning I'm out there, and who comes running by me? I think it was Adam Mary and Drew were running by me, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll see those guys around. And you literally just stop paying attention because you'd have a rubber neck, because that's all you would be doing is looking at one running star to the next. There was a couple of people when we hiked the escarpment. Tommy Rivers Poozy comes running down, and I'm like, oh my God. And literally my heart stopped. And I'm like, you're my favorite person in the world. I said, you can say no, but can I have a photograph? Of course, he's there for 5 minutes. He's like, oh, let's do this pose. Let's do that pose. And, I'm getting choked up. I'm like, you're on my treadmill every day. You are the reason I'm here. You're a huge reason that I'm here. And he was so generous. Actually ran into him, I think 4 times over the course of the weekend. And I still don't think he knows who I am, but Yeah, that's all right. So, yeah, you're just running into all these superstars everywhere you go. So the next day, we're there. We do the escarpment hike. Then it's packet pickup. Neeraj shows up to get his packet stuff. We stop by the Man Against Horse booth. And what's the name of the announcer who announces the live stream? Not HAW, the other
Dylan
announcer
Bowman?
who's been there with... What's that?
Dylan Bowman?
No, not Free Trail.
Oh.
From Aravaipa,
Oh.
who does Cocodona. What's his name?
Chris Warden.
Is that who it is? So he's there talking to Neeraj, talking to, James Bonet. Everybody knows him. And I'm just like, oh my God, Gordy is there signing autographs. Everywhere you go. Corey Weltering. Do you know Corey Weltering? Yep. He lives out in Maine now. I love that guy. I love his story. Joe interviewed him. And so I knew his story. I stopped. He was one of the guys I'm like, I got to get your photograph. I said, I'm a huge fan. And we're just chatting. I'm like, so what are you doing here? Just hanging out? He's like, no, I'm running it. And I'm like, well, now I feel like an idiot because I know nothing. I don't know what anybody's doing. And I did get a nice photo, as you know, with HAW. We did not drink a beer, but we could have. So yeah. And so I did get a photo with Corey Weltering. And then we go through packet pickup. And I'm filming. I'm there to be the photographer. So I'm filming Neeraj through all of this. At one point, guys, there was like, it gave me kind of chills. He's getting his photo taken. And you've seen all the Western States photos, and it's a huge deal. The whole packet pickup takes each runner about a half an hour to go through. It's this celebration. They go from little, each thing they get all these great, Hoka's the sponsor, all these sponsors. So they get all these freebies and they have a huge duffel bag they get and all this stuff. But they go from person to person. It takes a long time. It's very ceremonial. It's wonderful. It's joyful. He's getting his photo done, and Becca, his wife, leans over to me. And this was just like eye-opening. And she goes, they had to stop for like 5 minutes and reset everything. She said, they're not set up to take pictures of people with his color of skin. And she said, this is a fact. And this is what they told me last year. And I just stopped and I kind of went, yeah, that's right. This is why we need to keep pushing for people of color, for women, for, to be in these races. Cause I get it. That's the majority, but it still makes you pause and go, hey, my friend deserves, but they were very nice to him, and Western States is very supportive. And so we don't want to come down on them. So we're going through that line. At one point,
hold on,
I'm videoing the whole.
Before we move on, can I talk about one cool thing about his picture?
Yeah.
If you see a lot of the pictures of like pros and whatever, they all have like jackets on.
Yeah.
And then he just has his T-shirt that says like immigrants belong at Western States or something along those lines. Those
shirts were made by Precision Fuel for him.
That's so cool.
So they made him. I was supposed to get one at one point. Neeraj, where's my shirt? But yeah, Precision really came through. I've got nothing but praise for them. We'll get to that. So we're going through that. We do the photos. He's going to the next one. He stops, and this guy starts hugging him. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's Craig Thornley, the race director. He's like famous. I keep sending you guys photos up. He was talking with Jamil. He was talking with all these. Everybody knows him because of last year. And so he goes through the line. I'm filming the whole thing. We get to the last person. It's Corinne Malcolm. And because she and I message all the time on Instagram, she sees me and she's like, dude. And I'm like, Corinne. So we chatted a little bit. I don't think I told you guys this, but on the way out there, I think I told you with the Grace to the Finish campaign, which is, immigration advocacy, I reached out to Moises Jimenez, Moy from the Boulder Boys, and said, hey, man, I'm doing this thing. You're probably not going to respond, whatever, but I thought of you. I thought it might be something you might be interested in. He did respond, and he said, yeah, I'll get to it. I might get into it. And then that was 3 months ago. And, of course, he was running Lavaredo the same weekend. On the flight over, he pings me back on Instagram and says, hey, sorry, I've been busy. I'm like, yeah, I get it, dude. You're running a race tomorrow. I get it. And he says, I'm very interested, and I might have an in to get us into TrailCon next year to do a live panel. Because And I said, I already did a panel. I said, we did the podcast. I said, but we want to do more. He's like, I might have an in. So we get to Corinne Malcolm, and she and I start chatting. I'm like, Corinne, I'm talking with Moy from the Boulder Boys show. Carolina's interested. If you're interested, we'll try to get some more people. Try to do. So that's the goal next year. I know we'll get to canyons, but my goal is, I don't know if I'll do Western States, but maybe I'll, cross your fingers, I'll be at TrailCon doing a panel podcast to try to get more representation into trail running. So yeah, I meet Corinne Malcolm. Of course I had to get a picture with her because I love the hell out of her. And her mom lives in Minneapolis too. So the whole packet pickup thing is just this incredible ceremony thing. The next thing right after that is the pre-race. It's the thing I don't know if it's carried on live stream, but it's where Topher Gaylord gets up there. They introduce all the elites, all the men, all the women. They talk through all the rules, all the changes. Neeraj is like, I'm going to go sleep. You guys go for me and let me know. I'm like, God, we got you. So for me, it was really cool and interesting. They start with the women, and it's surreal. I took video, and I'm watching it back the other day, and I'm like, oh, yeah, there's Jen, there's Tara Dower, there's Riley Brady, and then there's Killian, and it's crazy. They're, 30 feet away from me, and they're all there, and it's just like I said, it kind of gets to be overwhelming. You kind of get deaf to it at some point. But so that was really cool. And then we had our final team meeting, went through everything again, the PowerPoint, all the stuff. And the next morning, we're up bright and early. I think we met at 4 a.m. Race starts at 5 a.m. at the escarpment. And it's just crazy. It's packed. It's like there's little drones, like there's these silent hovering drones with these lights just hovering over you. And you're like, shit, I'm probably on the live stream someplace. And, we got our positions. We got our cameras ready. Neeraj, I was like, he wasn't even nervous. I'm like, dude, you're nervous? Yeah. You going to do some warm-ups? No, I'm good. It was cold. It was 50 degrees and 60 to 70 mile an hour gusts at the top of the escarpment. So he had his jacket on and his stuff on, and gun goes off, and there they go. And it's just crazy. And I'm like, okay, so how much time do we have? Like, well, we got to go now. So the crew is split up between an A crew and a B crew. I was B crew. There was 3 of us, and we had to go to what's the first one? Duncan Canyon, and then the A crew goes to Robinson Flats, and the B crew goes to Dusty Corners, and then we all start to meet up after that at Michigan Bluff, Forest Hill, and all the rest. So the race goes off, and we get in the car and we go. We have basically just enough time. It's like 3-hour drive because you have to drive through all these back roads. It's crazy. And they talked about this. They said, as a crew, Western States is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I do not know how the elite teams, they must have crews already on the way because, he was half as fast as them, and it was all we could do to get there a half hour before he got there. But we got to the first one, and it's really cool. Everybody's there. I was rooting for Christina Regalado, who's running, and she was on the panel. And so I'm filming her. The other GU runner, Tuvshin, I think is his name. He's from Mongolia. He was there. I was filming him. And then here comes Neeraj, and I'm filming him. And guys, he was dancing. He's half hour ahead of schedule. He's dancing around. He's not even sweating. We're like, you need ice, you need chips, Coke. No, I'm great. We gave him his stuff. The other crew met him at Robinson Flat. We met him then again at Dusty Corner. And he's just dancing. He's just running, dancing. And so we're like, dude, it's getting hot. I know they said it's cold, but you've got to take some ice. Get in the water. Because we won't see you for like another 4 aid stations. Michigan Bluff is the next place. And sent him on his way, and we got to Michigan Bluff, and the whole time he's on schedule for 27 hours. And so we're tracking everything. He's half hour ahead, 40 minutes ahead. He gets into Michigan Bluff right on time. So he's lost a little bit of time because there's a couple of big climbs up what they call the Devil's Thumb. Is one of the canyon climbs. And then Michigan Bluff, I guess, is a really bad climb too. So he gets in there. He's still doing great. That's where I saw AJW, by the way. And Dr. Tanya introduced me. So we got our photo together. But he's still doing great. Picks up his first pacer. He literally, like, there's a cutoff. If you get in before 8 o'clock, you can't have a pacer. He gets in at 5 to 8. So we're like, all right, so just slow down. Eat slow. Because, guys, here's the thing I was going to mention. Mario, you talked about fans 24-hour, and you and I both took naps. 28 and a half hours, he sat down twice. Once was for 4 minutes. Once was for 12 minutes because he had come out of the creek and we had to change his clothes and shoes to dry off. 12 minutes is all he sat down. The dude averaged 17-minute miles. It was hot. He climbed 18,000 feet. I'm like, Mario, you're going to run 100 miles today. I look at that and I go, this is not even the same sport as me. I don't even understand this. And he's the back of the pack. You know, he's not even the elites. So like you hear about the elites, and that's the other weird thing about being at Western States. I had to reach out to you guys. I had no idea what was happening. I've got no cell service. We're at the back of the pack. I don't know what the frick is going on. I'm like, I don't know who's winning, women, men. I have no idea. You guys had to keep me up to date. So we send him off Michigan Bluff. We wait like 3 minutes. He's able to get his pacer, send him off. Next place is Forest Hill. James Bonet shows up. That's the other funny thing. His coach, James Bonet, is also crewing Jim Walmsley. So he's trying to crew Jim and then trying to meet back up with Neeraj at his crew spots. And Neeraj is going so fast, he's not able to get there in time. He was able to get there at Forest Hill, and it's really fun. Him and his dad and some others showed up, and they had like these inflatable horses because it's man against the horse race. So they had these inflatable horses that we were, parading him with. He shows up at Forest Hill. That was the first time he sat down. And I forget if we changed his shirt. We always change his pack, all that kind of stuff. He gets up, and I think I told you guys, he has a new pacer now, George. And they're like going to run from where we did his stuff is about a mile from where the actual big, you guys see all the lights and all the aid station stuff. It's about a mile from that. You can actually do your changes before that, and the whole crew can run with him. So we all start running with him. He takes off, and I got it on video. It's funny because I'm on video and I'm running. I told you guys I was running sub 9 minute pace, and then he's just gets farther and farther away in the video. And I'm like, you can hear me in the camera. I'm like, I can't keep up. He took off. This is 62 miles in, and he takes off at 8 minutes something pace. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. So now it's nighttime. We get to Forest Hill. It's 9 p.m. It's nighttime. And you just never know what's going to happen at night. I mean, he does. He does pretty good. He loses a little bit of time. By the time he got to Recky Chucky, which I've got great videos of, they'll be in the movie. They filmed him from one shore, and then the guy who was pacing him took out his iPhone, and all the volunteers are like, you got to have 2 hands on the rope. And he was like, whatever. And he's filming Neeraj, who's like neck deep in water. He hates water. He does not like water. So he gets this great footage of him crossing over, and we pick him up at Green Gate. Now he's about a half hour, and when he leaves there, about 44 minutes behind schedule for a 27-hour finish. Still way ahead of cutoff. And between then and the time I pick him up, he loses he was about an hour and a half behind when I picked him up. Here's the crazy thing. So I'm only pacing him the last 6 miles. And the whole time, like his son, Sahil, who paced him last year, everybody's like, if you can't do it, we got you covered. And I'm like, no, dude, I want to run on the course. I got to run. I know these 6 miles. It's easy. He's tired. I can get him. Well, you guys know my issues. As we're walking the mile from the car to the aid station at Pointed Rocks for me to pick him up, my feet go numb. My back starts going out. I cannot feel my feet. I'm stopping every 30 seconds to stretch. And I get there and I'm like, oh, crap. So I just keep stretching. And I'm like, nah, this is going to be fine. And I just keep stretching. And I'm like, it's got to be fine. It's going to be fine. In the meantime, he's not slept. The crew, I've slept a total of maybe 20 minutes in the car in between driving. There's no time to sleep. So none of us have slept. And I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I'm going to do this. Somehow I'm going to do this. And he comes in. He's still looking good. He's lost a little bit of time, but it's like we have 3 hours to get him basically to the finish. And we take off. I have no issues. Not a one. And I'm like, what do you want to do, dude? I'm like, I got you. What pace you want to go? And he's feeling good. So we averaged about 14-minute miles for most of it. That was flatter downhill. We were jogging. I was doing, I got us up to maybe 12-minute miles at one point. We passed Christina. Christina was an hour ahead of him. And she had knee problems so bad, she was crying at the Pointer Rocks aid station. And then she left before us. Well, we caught her, and she was really teary-eyed. And we stopped and talked to her for a little bit. And I got a nice photo with me and her, and then me and her and Neeraj. And her spirits picked up. I told her, I said, you have nothing. You're getting a buckle. I said, you're an hour away from getting a buckle, and you have like 3 hours to do it. You're getting a buckle. I said, just hang in there. And she had a pacer with. And so we passed her. And the one thing is, last year when he did the race, he was behind. He laid down at Forest Hill. He did all these things wrong, and he still came within 2 minutes. So that tells you, dude's still pretty fit. This year, we're way ahead, and I told him he was so bummed last year that he couldn't enjoy No Hands Bridge because they have all the flags up. I mean, it's the iconic Western States image. You're going across No Hand Bridge. You're now, 2.5 miles from the finish. He's like, I couldn't enjoy it. It was just like, I couldn't even see. We're running so fast to get there to make the cutoff. So I told him, I said, when we get to No Hands Bridge, I said, I don't know if you want to run or walk, but we're filming this. You're going to soak this shit in. And we got there. I'm like, you want to run or walk? He said, let's walk. I said, great. I pulled out the camera and I just started filming. And I'm like, dude, this is it. You got your second chance as an immigrant, as Western States. And he starts talking about second chances. And I'm crying. And literally, you can hear me on the film. I'm just all choked up and I'm crying. I got it all on film. And it's just incredible. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So we jogged a little bit. We got to the Roby Point climb. Oh, that's cruel. That's just really cruel. Why do race directors do that? It's like you've run 98 miles and now you have to climb 800 feet to get up to Roby Point. And then you hit pavement and then you just keep climbing, it feels like, till you get to the track. I'm like, oh, God. Of course, we get to Roby Point. His family's there. Everybody could run with him at that point. He changes shirts. He gets his finish line shirt on. His whole family is there. His coach, James Bonet, is there. And he takes off again. I'm like, dude, I can't keep up with you. And so George has got my video camera. He's doing the filming. He's in flip-flops. George is in flip-flops. And he's 10 times faster than me. And I actually stopped to get a photo with Ann Trayson. So then I had to run twice as fast to catch back up to everybody. Because she hangs out. Her house is right on the course there. But we come into the stadium, and it's just roaring. His wife has the India flag he's got on, and it's incredible. And we get to the finish, and it just, most of my emotions were used up, so I wasn't crying or anything much at the finish, but you're just so happy for him. Couldn't believe it. 28:33, that was his final time. We were so psyched. And then we hung out afterwards with James Bonet had a tent there. And, of course, James Bonet is friends with Tommy Ribs. Tommy Ribs is there. He's friends with Jamil and Nick Curry, so they're there. He's friends with Scott Jurek. Scott said and posted about Neeraj when he stopped at his aid station, which is, I think, Quarry Road. So, yeah, it's just crazy. And you're just hanging out with all these people. And Dylan Bowman is there, and you're just like, I give up. I don't know. They're just people. At some point, they're just like, yeah, whatever. But it was incredible. And then, of course, we're there for Golden Hour, which happens right after that. And it's fun. That's always amazing. I got to see my other friend, Julie Anding, who volunteers at the Last Chance aid station. she always hangs out for golden hour. So I chatted with her. I had a Grace to the Finish shirt for her too. And it was awesome. And I was so freaking tired. So absolutely tired. I was just wiped out. I'm like, I'm such a loser. Why am I so tired? I didn't even run but 6 miles the whole weekend. Yeah, and he's just thrilled. So Precision Fuel, like I mentioned, James Bonet, his coach, got them hooked up because James Bonet is friends with Finn Melanson, and Finn has a connection to Precision Fuel because James is friends with, everybody knows James. And so he got him hooked up with Precision, and Precision fully sponsored him. Did I send you guys the link to the video? I sent you the link to the video they did, right?
Yeah.
So in the video is, all these elite athletes and then Neeraj. Like, there he is. They treated him just like he was going to break the course record. They were running with him. They were at the aid stations. They had him outfitted. You saw in the video, like, when we came into the finish, those last mile and a half, they were with him every step. Like the founder of the company, the owner of the company was running with him. And they did a full interview with him in the tent after the race too. They were just treated him like he was Tara Dower. Didn't matter. He was, I was so impressed with him. The other thing, guys, is he said they had a nutritionist for him and they figured out everything, every gram at every mile of that race. They had it dialed in. Here's what gel you take. Here's how many grams. If you need to chew, here's how much salt you use. And he said it was a game changer. He just did the nutrition exactly like they dialed it in. And he's like, I didn't have a single problem. Not a single stomach problem all day long. Never was hungry. He had energy. He had so much energy. He still had energy at mile 98. He was running up the hill. It was crazy. So I kind of almost want to try that stuff. It's not cheap. I mean, he got all of his stuff free, but I mean, if it was that good for him, it might be worth, trying on. So that was my long story of Western States. It was quite the experience.
So I have some questions.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, has James Bonet been his coach, or is that part of getting Man vs. Horse's golden ticket?
Yeah, I asked James that when I interviewed him. I said, originally that wasn't the intent. The intent was they were going to, and by the way, they did not do that this year because now they were worried people would,
purposely miscut
Purposely, yeah. So they are giving away a free entry to Western States, but you have to complete their race and then you go into a lottery, which is probably a better way. He said when they awarded him the ticket, it was just that, but then they connected and he offered his coaching services, which was a game changer. I mean, Neeraj has always been good and in shape and done training regimens and stuff like that, but James had him like dialed in, like to the minute. He knew. He had him dialed in, like pace, minute. Like I said, at the first 3 aid stations, he was within 2 minutes of his target time. Within 2 minutes. By the time we got him, he was like 15, 16 minutes ahead. And then he started getting ahead. And then James actually admittedly said the second half of the course, he had really aggressive pace times. It got faster. And I'm like, the rest of the crew, we were like, why? Because why did we do that? I mean, I know there's no there's not as much climbing, but you've been out there for 60, 80 miles. Why would we go faster? So we kind of knew that was going to happen, but yeah, so that wasn't the original intent, but it turned out to be a big, huge difference.
And then when you say Precision gave him a nutritionist, I mean, was he doing calls with them and sweat tests?
Yep.
Or
yes, everything.
Because you kind of sent us a sneak peek of the spreadsheet they put together for him, and I mean, it was, here's how much we anticipate you're going to lose, here's how you're going to replace it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it was dialed.
I mean, this whole column is just every milligram of everything. So he did every test they have, sweat tests, all that. It's their top nutritionist, and I think she was one of the ones running with us or interviewed him. But on the video, when they interview like the nutritionist lady from Precision, that's her. That's who he had. And so they did, he might as well have been running at the front of the pack because they did everything like they would have for their elite athletes with him.
That's so cool.
We need that. We need that. I need to get sponsors for this show. Precision, if you're out there, this podcast does not have a sponsor. We'd be glad to put your logo on our stuff.
Well, I think that doing so. I also use Precision gels. I like both their non-caffeinated and their caffeinated gels. And I think that so I was doing about 60 grams of carbs an hour during my birthday run when I did that 35 miles, and I think that's the reason why I was able to maintain the pace that I was, and not feel like I was running out of energy because I was making sure to fuel properly. I was on top of it. I was focused on it. And I stuck to the plan. When things were not going necessarily great, I still stuck to the nutritional plan and just trust the process. This is what it's not going to feel good for the most part, but I felt overall pretty good, and I attribute a lot of that to Precision. So,
even on that last 6 miles, every 20 minutes, I stopped and said, "Do your gel. It's 20 minutes. Let's go." And he did, and he was like, and he was never like, "I'm sick of this." He was, I don't know what flavor he had or what, but he kept doing it. In fact, it got to a point where they also had chews to kind of mix it up. They had some chews in there. He said no chews. And maybe that's because it was cold in the beginning and it's hard to do the chews when it's cold. So we switched them over and we pulled all the chews out and we added extra gels. So he even did extra of the gels and he just hammered them and they worked.
My only complaint, now that you have a direct plug to Precision, they have 90-gram gels, but their drink mix only goes up to 60 carbs. And it's really only 30 carbs per water bottle that would fit in a vest. So you have to drink so much water to get your carbs in. Because I try to do 90 grams an hour.
You don't do gels?
I
just drink it?
I do a mixture of both, but
that's
drink mix seems to work better. So I've been using Tailwind's high carb. It's all right.
Yeah. He just did water. He did water. No nutrition in the bottles. It was strictly water, and then he had salt tabs. And that's all he did. And he just got all of his calories from gels, almost all of it. He ate 2 bowls of rice. He had a cup of coffee at Green Gate. I saw him have some chips and a couple of cans of Coke. That was it. All came from gels. He ate. I took a video of his table. There was a shit ton. Literally, I've never seen so many gels in my life. I'm like, oh my God. This is like, from the movies. It was crazy.
So did they give him the single serving 30-gram gels, or did they give him the 90-gram packets?
Yes, and yes. He had
it. If they make it, he had it.
Yeah. He had he had the where's my sheet? He had a lot of he ended up using a lot of the 90-gram gels. 90-gram gels, 30-gram gels. He had 60-gram chew bars, but we started replacing those with gels. So he went through a ton of the 90s, mostly 90s and some 30s in there. And some of them had caffeine, some didn't. He started doing caffeine as it got past Forest Hill, as it starts to get night. And that's the other thing, guys. It was we watched the live stream and we're always like, Western States, you're done in a day. You're done in 24 hours. Not most people. You're not. It's so funny because 9 o'clock comes and you think, oh, everybody's done. Everybody's back in their hotel sleeping. That's when he got to Forest Hill. He still had half of the race to go in the dark. And it is a totally different course in the dark. It's like when we hiked down to Green Gate, that was an 800-foot climb to get out of there. And it was 2 miles. So I felt like I was hiking the course. It is... And there was a full moon out. They actually, the runners were like, it was just so beautiful. But that course is completely different at night. We don't see that on the live stream usually, but that was interesting. Well, I loved it. And, everybody's like, oh, you got to come back every year. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I loved it. I'm probably never going to get the chance to run it. We'll see.
My last question was going to be like having this experience with a good friend, running it, watching him like kind of have his redemption arc and being a part of the back half of that arc. Like, would you go back, or will it just never be as sweet unless you're the one running it?
I would go back if somebody needed help. I mean, I'm not going to be able to pace somebody fast for 20 miles from Forest Hill to the finish or Green Gate to the finish or anything like that. But I would do those last 6 miles. I would be on a crew maybe, for the right person. It's a lot of work. That's the other thing is like I would go back and crew, but it would be for one of the two of you or, another close friend. But it's a lot of work and it's a big commitment to be, because you don't sleep. You're there with the runner. You're there for 30 hours minimum, more. And it's nonstop. I would love to run it. I just don't. I don't know. It's not in the cards for me. I'm 58. I did tell James Bonet, I said, if I could ever, retire and get faster in my 60s, I might need a coach. What do you say, coach? Maybe he'd get me through Western States. He could get me to finish, maybe. But, yeah. It was awesome. I love that area, though. I want to go back there. So enough Western States. Let's move on. And we're at an hour and a half, so I don't want to spend all night with everybody. We got to talk Erik's training, Wild Duluth. Before we do we've all now signed up for the Canyons 50K.
I officially registered today.
All right. So we will be in Auburn. I'm getting us an Airbnb or a Verbo, whatever you call it. Do we want to? Here's my question to you. I started looking at that and I started thinking about, I want to show you guys parts of the Western States course. So the course we run on Canyons, there's only a small section from No Hands to the finish to Roby Point. That's actually part. The rest of it, it's really cool trail and it's very similar. It runs along the North American, that river. But I want to take us, do we want to go out like Wednesday night? If the race is Saturday or Thursday, or what would you guys do?
I don't care. I'll go out there a month before if you want to.
Yeah. Well, Mario and I have to work, Erik, so
I got a PTO to burn, baby.
I guess. Well, we'll figure that out. But I think the Olympic Village will still be skiing. It'll still be snow there, so I don't think we'll be able to hike the escarpment. But there's parts of the course from like dusty corners and stuff that if that's dry, I want to drive you guys out there and I want us to run and hike some of the parts of the course so you get to see it, because it is beautiful. Like you get up on the ridges of these mountains on these trails on the Western States Trail, and it's so cool. So I want us to take a day and a half. If we get out there Wednesday night, we could take Thursday and Friday and just kind of explore the area and have some fun and do some, hikes, runs out on the trail.
For sure.
But you'll see. I'm actually, the Western States experience is great, and it's this huge carnival, but the trail itself is just magical. That area is magical that time of year, too. Because, like, if you go too soon, if you go in May or April, there's still snow. And then if you wait till, like, September, October, there's snow. So, like, that June, that middle part of summer, it's just magical out there. So, we're going to have a great time. I'm so excited. We're going to have the best time.
Pray for a non-snow year so we don't have to carry all the UTMB winter required gear.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ever run a 50K with a 12-pound pack?
I'm not worried about Mario, but Erik, you and I that 10 hours, based upon our 50K times, we're going to have to work. It's 5,500 feet a gain.
I was looking at that. It's basically Mears Wild Duluth stats. So I'll have a good warm-up for it in October.
Okay. Let's talk Wild Duluth. So you're getting serious. Mm-hmm. You're training. When did you start? Obviously, it was before fans. When did you hit the switch and go, I'm in. I'm training. I'm in my block?
I think the week after Storm the Park.
Okay.
Was that in May?
April.
Okay, so 2 weeks then probably.
Okay.
It was like late April, early May is when my training plan started. It's a 25-week training plan.
Where did you get your training plan?
So I'm a Strava premium member because I don't know, I like data and I'm a nerd. And
Oh,
so you
oh.
could
And
like
he has
bundle.
unlimited PTO, guys.
Yeah, I don't have unlimited PTO. I just roll a lot over every year.
Yeah.
So you can like add on the Runna AI
Okay.
coaching app for like some
Okay.
extra money every year. And so I was like, I'll give it a shot, see what it
Yeah.
does. It's kind of an experiment, see if it actually works or see if I'd get injured. And so far it's been good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've been watching your stuff. It looks awesome. And it's really structured. Like, you're like, it gives you like each workout is its whole structure. Is it 4 days a week, you said?
You can set it however, like you can customize all of it. So like
Okay.
it basically asks you what your or what your current, like if you went to run a 5K, what would it be? And then it sets your paces from there, but then it asks your weekly mileage. So like after Storm the Park, I hadn't run and before that I hadn't run all month. I did the Storm the Park. That didn't go that great. So I just set my weekly mileage at like 10 miles and it's slowly been building me up, but I'm
Okay.
halfway through the training plan and like I'm just getting to mid 20-mile weeks. But
Wow.
but then it gets like it progresses, so I'll do like a 21-mile long run, 24-mile long run, 21-mile long run. That's kind of my peak weeks.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really boring, but you're doing the same workouts kind of a lot.
Yeah.
But it's nice because you can feel them getting easier and see paces getting faster. And so it's a little bit, you're kind of always getting affirmation that, okay, maybe this is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
The only problem is I just started getting into like double-digit long runs, and it's been 90 degrees every Sunday. So I've just been getting cooked on my long run. So that's been kind of hard because it's like I should be progressing on these, but like they're just kind of staying the same. But part of it's I lost my ice bandana after fans. So like I live literally like 3 miles from a national wildlife refuge.
Yeah.
And so the hill that I would do my hill workouts on is too overgrown now. And it's part that you're not supposed to access when the migratory birds are here. I'm in a big sandhill crane and swan country. So the refuge is really set up to protect the sandhill cranes. And so they shut off access to certain parts of the refuge from, I want to say, April 1st to the end of October.
Yeah.
And the hill is kind of a gray area. It has walking trails that you can go on up to an observation deck, but it doesn't get used that much, and so it gets really overgrown, and it's not fun to run up like basically single track that's overgrown. So that got shut off to me. Lake Maria, where I did a lot of my last Lake Maria State Park out by Mario, where I did a lot of my last Wild Duluth training, because it's really the only hilly park we have around us, which hilly is 500 feet of gain in a 5-mile loop. Not that hilly, but the best that I kind of have around me. That gets too buggy until about mid-August. But the one part of there's a 7-mile wildlife drive in the refuge that stays wide open. It's just like a gravel road. Okay. And so that's where I've been doing a lot of my long runs. Well, because it's a gravel road, when it's 90 degrees and pure sun, I got baked.
There's no trees.
No,
it's all
nothing.
exposed.
Sunscreen, though. I did use sunscreen, so I didn't get that helps a little bit.
You need one of those sun shirts with a hood.
Yeah.
Mario, you need to hook them up.
How about it's been going well. I've been really consistent.
I'm always curious on these. Like I've done, and I admit the last 2 years I don't use training plans anymore. I'm just like, nah, I'm just gonna get some miles in. I'm gonna get some climbing in. Just do the best I can. Try to be consistent. But the free trail ones that I do use, and I set my wife up with one, is hours based. It's nothing mileage. There's no mileage. It's like an hour doing this, 10 minutes tempo, 2 hours total for the week and things like that. But yours is all mileage based?
It's mileage and split based. So,
Okay.
oh, sometimes. So like tomorrow, we talked about this, but I have 1 minute hill repeats tomorrow, 10 by 1 minute.
Right.
And the pace goal it gives you is just hard. It just says run hard for a minute up a hill.
Okay. Okay.
And then so there's some of that, and then a lot of it's run by feel kind of days where it's like just go do a 5K easy, and it'll tell you, like as I've been progressing now, it says that I can't go below 12:30 on my easy runs. I have to be above that.
Okay.
And then, but other than that, like Tuesday morning, my workout was, super structured. It's a 1 mile warm up, and then they call it an over-under workout. So it was a 1K at 11:15 pace, and then it gives you a window, so you can be 30 seconds plus or minus.
Okay.
So 11:15, and then the second 1K was 10:30. And then you went back to the 11:15 1K, the 10:30 1K, and then you had a quarter mile cool down. So
I'm pulling up the Wild Duluth 50K. What's the gain on that?
it's right around 5,000 feet or 5,500 feet.
So it's Canyons 50K.
Yep. It's a different setup, though. Like, Canyons is like 3 or 4 big climbs, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Like you're hitting Roby for 800 feet. I'm sure there's some other climbs like that.
Yep.
Wild Duluth is like up for 300 feet, down for 300 feet, up for 300 feet, down for 300 feet, up for 300 feet. So, yeah, it's a lot more like jagged.
So you end in Duluth. Do you end at that downtown area there by the bridge?
You end in Bayfront Park. If you've ever been to Bentleyville, it's where like Bentleyville is, kind of by the new hockey rink that the Bulldogs built.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Should be good.
So this will be good. And your goal is what?
Sub 8 hours.
Nice. You've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you finish in that year?
Like 9:45, I think I looked at.
Okay. Mario, you've done it twice?
Mm-hmm.
What were your times? Your first time was your fastest time, right?
Yeah, first time I did it was my fastest 50K time. The last time I did it, it was, I think, just 2 minutes shy of 8 hours when we did it in 2024,
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are we doing, Eric? We're meeting you at the aid stations. Are we handing you bottles and massaging your feet? What are we doing?
Yeah, just bottles and a pat on the back.
We're the hype man. The hype man. Great. Filming.
It's pretty
All right.
nice because I'm slow and you can't see me till the second aid station, which is 10 miles in. So a third of the race is done by the time you see me.
Great.
So you can sleep go get breakfast, and then meet me at the first aid station. Well, second aid station.
Sounds good. Great. Okay, one other topic I was going to broach, unless you guys had anything else before we call it. So, talking to Chris Swanky, talking to Susie Lurie, talking to Lindsay Teague, Joe Harden, who's doing the Vol State 500K. We're all talking about trying to get to 100 miles. You know what we should do? Just not do a race. Just do our own FKT. Do our own adventure. Make up our own 100-mile race. You know what I mean? So like Chris Swanky, he did it over the course of like 5 days. He and his mom. He ran across the state of Minnesota. He went to the South Dakota border with his mom. She dropped him off at the border, and he ran 25 miles, stopped, got a hotel, got up. His mom picked him, dropped him off back where she, picked him up, ran, and it took him like whatever it was. It was 180 miles or something at the end of it. But let's do our own adventures. And like Chris does this thing every year. He calls it the Quick Trip Marathon, where they literally do a marathon. They just stop at Quick Trips for their fueling. and he has the route planned out. He wants to do, and he hasn't done it yet. He's like, it's a 2-year plan. He wants to do like the 694, 494 loop because a lot of bikers will do that, but not on the highway, on the like side streets. He says it's about 78, 73 miles, and you just stop at convenience stores. That's your aid stations. We need to do more shit like that. Just,
I have a dream that I've only voiced to one other person in my life, and it's my uncle, because he used to fast pack.
Yeah.
Northern Terminus Superior Hiking Trail to the Southern Terminus Superior Hiking Trail.
How many miles is that?
Like 300.
I think it's
which I also think, as we're watching Tahoe 200 and Bigfoot 240 and Cocodona 250 take off, I need one of the many race directors to make the Minnesota 300. Just start at one point and end at the other.
I'm sure it's a nightmare. I mean, John Storkamp, he can only have so many permits on the Superior Hiking Trail for his Superior 100. I'm sure it's a nightmare. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, would you stay in tents? Would you just be fast packing it then?
Yeah. At one point, I thought I could do it in a week, and then I think I looked at the FKT on the Superior Hiking Trail, and it's like 5 days.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours.
It's like very close to a week, and that was fully supported. But I was just thinking, start, run. The northern part would be a little tougher, I think, but a lot of times you could drop into like small little towns on the North Shore there and stop in Tofty and go to the Coho Cafe, get a nice lunch, and head back.
Yeah, if you plan it out where I can stay in a nice hotel every night, I'm in. I'm past the age of tents, I think, but yeah.
Tesla makes an air mattress we can just throw in the back of my car. We can camp
there
right
you
on
go.
the Tesla.
There you go. You can test out when you drive out to the canyons, when you drive out to Auburn, California.
I do have a tent for the back of the Ranger.
Yeah, that's fun.
It goes on the bed, and I got an air mattress that fits in the bed of the truck around the wheel wells. We're set.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, I just think that a lot of this impromptu stuff, we don't have to wait for a race. We don't have to pay all this money. Just do your own 100-mile race. Whatever. We'll just, make it up. Who knows? We'll run 2 miles around Arvindale Lake when nobody's there.
No, my problem is a lot of the trails, because I don't really want to loop it. I don't want to sit there and run loops. And a lot of the trails in Minnesota that are long distance trails, like you think the Sioux Line, the Paul Bunyan State Trail, what's the one up in St. Cloud? Whatever. A lot of them are paved. Yeah. I don't really want to run because they're old rail trails. I don't want to run old rail trails. I want to go on an adventure. Even the 694, 494 loop thing is cool, but I don't want to run in the metro. My famous quote from last year, I don't love running, I love trail running.
Yeah. Yeah.
By famous, I mean between the three of us. But, but to me, I don't know, when you're out on the Superior Hiking Trail, that's just a different experience than running a 2-mile loop around Normandale.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Anywho, all right, guys. So I'm headed off to South Africa here soon. Hopefully, I think I've got 4 of these in the can, so I'll be releasing stuff while I'm gone. So I've got those 88 listeners now. We can't let them down. Yeah. Not having episodes. Can't go Boulder Boys on them and not have anything for a month.
Unless you win Canyons 50K, then we can take a month off.
There we go. So. Eric, I think my race in Mammoth is before yours. Mario, you're taking the fall off. No races scheduled as of yet, right?
Correct.
Okay. After talking to Chris, I almost kind of want to check the date, and I kind of want to do, I don't know if I can do the Trout Brook, but I might do the Icebox 480 again this year. I want to do one of his races.
I really want to do the Inyan Topa.
Oh, yeah. Is that in September? It's a couple weeks after Lake Superior.
It's super, It's 2 weeks before Wild Duluth, I think. 2 weeks or...
Oh.
Because it'd be perfect to go out and do the 10 mile. So that's one where it's kind of like I might just jump into it. Because I volunteered there once, but I got stuck at the first aid station. It's like in this valley that you can't see anything in. So you don't get to see the cool climb and all the good like bluff views. You're just down in the woods.
Yeah.
But the park was beautiful. I hiked around a little bit, but I think that'd be a fun race to do.
I think it's the same weekend as Mammoth.
Yeah, so, that sounds about right, because that'd be about 3 weeks out. Yep.
Yeah. I have to get serious. Next time we'll talk about my training schedule, which is no training. I have just nothing.
You've been on the treadmill a decent amount, though.
I am. That's my new training block is just get on the treadmill. Just get outside. Just go for a run. Just do something. Mm-hmm. Try to be consistent. Try to do something 4 to 5 days a week. I'm not worried about paces. I'm not worried about... The only thing I am focusing on is climbing a lot.
I was going to say, you've been getting a lot of elevation gain in not that long of runs.
My goal is to get over 300,000 feet of climbing this year.
Nice.
So that's my goal, and I'm getting there. But other than that, I'm just like, I'm just getting time on feet.
What's your famous, like your workout that you do? 15, 15, 3?
12, 3, 30.
12, 3, 30.
12, 3, 30. That will change your life. 12% grade, 3 miles an hour, 30 minutes. And I modify. Sometimes I go a little faster. Sometimes, like today I got on the treadmill. I was like, I want an easy day. I just did 40 minutes at like 11% grade, 3.1 miles an hour. And then a couple times I jogged. I brought the incline down and I jogged a little bit. So throw something on the TV.
Because I was thinking for canyons, I'm going to have to train for some of that on my treadmill.
Yep.
And practice climbing, sustained climbs a little bit better. And I was like, Joey was telling me about this. I don't know if you remember. I think you were talking to Lindsay about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to ask him about that more.
And my wife, Erin, has been training for Mammoth. I don't think she's run hardly a step. It's all been hiking. And she's just cranking up. She's now every day she's like, I got 1,500 feet in 40 minutes and this and that. And now she's getting, like 1 week she had, I don't know, 15,000 feet of gain. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's just hiking. And I told her, I said, I think she's going to crush that course. I think she's just going to crush it. And she won't have to run a lick of it. She'll just, 3.5, 4 miles an hour, just power her way up those hills.
Did you program the course into the treadmill for her yet?
She uses her own treadmill. She does not use my treadmill. Oh. She is too good for my treadmill. She's a Peloton user. Oh.
I thought you were going to say
a Peloton bike and a Peloton treadmill, Eric, and she will not touch my treadmill. No, she used to use it, but now she got the Peloton one. She likes it, and I'm like, that's great. That's fine. So we have separate treadmills,
Must be nice to not have kids. You can have separate treadmills.
That's what happens when you don't have kids and you just have dogs. You have separate treadmills. All right, guys. Anything else before we sign off?
No. Next podcast, I'll have a shoe update for you.
Oh, yes.
Great. Wonderful.
Look forward to hearing that.
I only have one run in them, so I can't say much about them yet.
All right. Save it till next time.
All right.
All right, guys. See you next time.
See you later.
Thank you.
Well, there you go, and we're back. Again, I'm sorry for the delay. It's been a little bit, but once again, fun talk with the boys. And how about that? We're creating a whole new race, or Eric is anyways, the Minnesota 300. How cool would that be? I'm sure John Storkamp and others will tell you it might be a nightmare to pull off, but 300 miles on the Superior Hiking Trail? Come on. Who doesn't want to do that? I want to do that. So like I said, I've got some pods coming up. I've got a conversation I recorded with the one, the only James Bonnet. And then I'm also putting together a pod of my adventures in Africa, which is a lot of fun, and some conversations with the group I had over there and some of the sounds and stories. So until next time, cheers and take care. Keep going, keep moving forward. You might get sick, you might go to Africa, but keep going. You will cross that finish line.